Let's does this, Gudlow.
Studies have shown that surgeons who game make 32% less errors.
I'm not gaming for me. I'm gaming for you.
Transcend humanity with Omen.
Prosperity, not subjectivity, right? Something like that.
We're all made of different things.
This is part of the game. You owe people marshmallows. I owe this guy marshmallows. Gudlow, we don't have to.
Hello, wonderful person. This is Anton, and today we're going
Welcome
to be
back, folks.
discussing
Democrats are
discovery
pushing
of
a bill
new
to
type of
counter
a
China.
supernova.
Republicans
A
in
supernova,
the
the
House are
scientists refer
slamming
to
it
as the
as
ultra
very weak and
radius
ineffective.
supernova.
I was thinking
as you
about
just
it,
heard.
but-
The Senate Republicans are all for it, unfortunately. And I think the things at its worst, especially as it regards trade. So, we're going to bring in my great friend, former U.S. Trade Rep Robert Lighthizer. Brother Bob, it's good to see you. I can still say Happy New Year, even though it's a month old. We have not seen you, and I have not been to Florida. But what do you make of this? The House Republicans seem smarter than the Senate Republicans, but your big beef, and nobody's talking about this, is the trade problems with this China compete bill.
In other words, it was always believed that...
So it's good to be with you too, and happy to you too, Larry. And everything's fine down here in Florida. We're waiting for you to come. So you're the only person I know that hasn't come so far. But so let's talk about this bill. The Senate a few months ago passed an innovation and competitiveness bill, and it spends a lot of money. In my judgment, money that needs to be spent. It subsidizes a lot of science, a lot of technology. It contributes to building fabs for semiconductors and does a lot of helpful things. In my judgment, one thing's for sure, we can't lose the technology competition with China. If we do, we're out of luck. So that's for sure. But then, like at the 11th hour, without hearings, and without any markup and no regular order, they put a several hundred-page trade section in it. And this trade section is like a surrender to China. So it cuts tariffs on a bunch of stuff, but a lot of it is from China.
That's why I would do some of the big dogs like that. If I want to camp out the boys in the marshmallow, I would try my best.
From China. And then it goes out and sets up a process that basically makes it very difficult for this president or any future president to take on the systemic anti-competitive practices of China, which is this Section 301 that you and I have spent so much time talking about. It's the statute that's the absolute center of the whole Trump policy, the Trump turnaround on China, the Trump taking on China, putting in place tariffs for their unfair trade practices and the like.
Sometimes I imagine
trying
people
to have
watching
us
Fox
less
News
dependent on
just
them
on
for
regular
imports.
TV
So that's
vacuuming.
Section
This is my HUD
301.
time about
This
big
bill,
SUI
which
simulators.
I believe was written by China lobbyists and big business importers and some people who are just naive. That's a very potent combination. And what this would do would make it very, very difficult for any president going forward to effectively use that very, very important enforcement statute. Now, the House has their own version, and the House
teachers.
does not
Doesn't
have
always
that
necessarily
provision
make
in
it what it is.
And
It's
I wrote an
compressed
article
under
on
federal
this
judges
that was
and
in
what
the New
would
York
be
Times a few
reasonable,
months ago.
but you would
And I
have the
just
limit.
said
It's
the
not
House
necessarily, you
has
wouldn't say a
got to
lifetime term
save
isn't, but
the
when there
American
was some
worker
that just cycled
from
right through.
this part,
Some stuff is
this
going
trade
weird.
part
Like,
of
why
the
is a
Senate
Supreme Court judge getting to the
innovation
case?
competitiveness bill.
Because
So
it's going
these
to be some big
exclusions
gnarlies that don't
undermine
matter to
completely
anything, and nobody's
the
bringing
301
road
tariffs.
or
I believe there's
wage
still,
to
what do
the
we have,
table.
350
Let alone
billion
bound the
some
board of
odd that's
education.
still in place. These are the weapons that Trump and you and all the rest of us used to complete, to bring China to the table and finally get a deal. We'll talk about the deal in the next segment. This bill, the Senate version, and this little trade piece that you're describing would undercut that. There would be exclusions and carve-outs, and you're saying, let me get this right, the U.S. government, the taxpayers, would actually pay the companies who would escape the problems with China trade? I mean, that's I don't know, is that a Chamber of Commerce specialty or what?
That's part of the very famous.
So what it does is it lets people who had exclusions expire get the money back from the tariffs they paid. It is outrageous, but that isn't even the worst part, Larry. The worst part
Larry,
is
you
it
look
puts
at the
in
map
place
on there, and you would
all
expect the
kinds
only
of poison
reason
pills to make
Marshmallow
it
got mad at all is because the
impossible
farmer died,
to
right?
use 301 again. Not only for President Biden should he decide to do it, and some
But
people
then
in
we're
the
all happy
administration,
in the
I'm sure, are
hurricane,
tough
in
to want to do
the
it.
stable.
But a next Republican president, which we're probably going to have here in the next few years, this would make it
I was like,
impossible
roll in there. You
for
you
him
mess
also
up
to take
the
on
pavement
China.
on
I mean,
going
this is
into
really,
Ukraine with tanks.
really
You
a gift
fix
for
it.
China, and sort of hard to believe.
So,
And I can't believe the way it
you ain't
came
got the
in
tread
late at night,
docks
not
or
regular
something
order,
to
no
follow up that
hearings,
tank
that
round. It's
anyone,
useless.
except for the lobbyists, really knows what's happening.
Yeah, boy, that's a great. Just to make sure folks know,
Mexico, on the other hand.
the 301 is, I'm just calling
Mexico.
it, gives us the
So why do
power
I give
to
a shit if
enforce
China's
trade
running through if I
security
own
by imposing
Mexico
tariffs.
now because they
And
done fucked
they're
up real
undercutting
good?
that as exclusions wear off. They'll wear off. Exclusions will reappear, and they'll even get paid for any so-called damages. So it'll turn into a big spending bill on top of a weakened trade bill with China. You have to talk to Kevin McCarthy and Kevin Brady and stuff. Bob, you got to make sure they
Rifle
understand.
drill Sergeant Anton
Let's
for
take a
Space
break.
Camp
Let's
here.
come back.
And
We're
I'm
keeping you.
making
We're
sure
going to
that
keep
we're
you on.
giving him
You're
the
such an
marshmallow,
important guy.
the
We're giving
exact
you your
most
own
amount
second
of things
segment,
that are
which is
necessary
extremely
to
rare for this
specify what
program.
is going on.
But we're honored to have you, Bob Lighthizer, back. When we come back with Ambassador Lighthizer, we're going to talk about the China trade deal itself. How is it doing? And oh, by the way, are any American
Is it easy to
athletes going
check?
to get
Easy
busted
to do?
at these Olympic Games?
Like,
Start this week. Anybody,
laser beam to the moon
Chinese
experiment?
surveillance? They're
It's
all over the place.
because they're over
An
safety
email,
rails.
a
It's not C++
text message,
out
Lord
here on
knows
your
what's
own with
gonna
a
happen
class
over
teacher
there.
that
None of
knows
that's gonna
what
be
it's
good.
supposed to look
I'm
like.
Cudlow. We'll come back with
But,
Ambassador Bob
the
Lighthizer
multi-world
again in
universe.
just a second. Okay, I'm back with former
Okay.
U.S. Trade Rep
back.
Robert Lighthizer, Ambassador Lighthizer.
And the way that these
One of the few to have a double segment on the Cudlow Show, and it is a great pleasure. Ambassador Lighthizer, how is the Chinese Phase 1 trade deal doing in your best judgment?
Well, I've seen fast workers
So
before
before we
at
get to that,
their
let me just very
factories
quickly
at the
make
level.
one
They
point.
look a lot
We
like
talked
ours
about
across
301
the board,
and
and
its
if they
effect
don't,
on
we're up
our
to par on
This
those numbers.
also
We have no
would
go.
stop any future
And
president
that's what
from
it is.
effectively using it at any time in the future, unless they go to the WTO first. So it's far worse, and I want to make that
Who's
clear.
pushing
So,
this on the Republican side? Do you have any idea? I'm going to have to do some investigative journalism. Because this is a bipartisan bill. Do you know about this?
and
What do they all have in common,
this is
Mason Robot?
bipartisan, and this tech,
Cudlow's
this,
free. I mean, he
trade
holds
part is
down to
bipartisan,
Fox
and,
in the box, but
And the reason
it depends
Let me get
on.
back to the other question. One of the reasons why I get along with people is I'm sure.
Anton
I know,
here,
me
he's
too.
going
I
to
know
want me to
usually.
support
Go ahead,
NASA.
tell us about China trade.
Because that's where he's getting his
so
sources
here's
from.
phase one.
That's his thing.
Look,
My
people are
first
acting
source,
like this
second
was a
source,
2-year
still comes through.
agreement. It
Like
was not a
now,
2-year agreement. Let me just very
Rogan
quickly
got
go through
clipped
it.
on
There
the
were a
early
whole lot
index of people
systemic
pushing mass from an
changes
intelligent
that China
position that
had
may
to
not
do.
do
And they were in
the right
technology
thing,
transfer,
but not
intellectual
necessarily that it's
property, getting
wrong.
rid of agriculture barriers
The
to
way
trade
you
and
explain that
services,
system
currency
should have
and the
been the
like.
thing, but
That is
people
going
have
pretty
moral
well,
fluff
but that's a
about
question
everything
of
inside
internal
of there.
vigilance. The next part are the purchases, which were designed really to help American workers and farmers, but also to get the trade deficit down. Those did not go so well. They're pretty good in agriculture, not so good in other areas. But that's not just a 2-year thing. I tell people, read the agreement. The expectation is
Farmer Almanac about why you keep Sagittarius A-star about my birthday would probably be around that area. I might want to try to put it in the black hole. Just comes up in cyclical cycles that
All right,
don't
well,
end.
that's good. But just think about this with respect to China and with respect to the whole rest of
NASA
the
9
world.
volt. I mean, that's
The
the one
U.S.
that's the
trade
bolt that
deficit
clips your toe
continues
right
to
there for
grow.
not wearing safety.
I mean, we always think it's unsustainable until it gets bigger, and then we say, well, that's unsustainable, and then
I
it
generally
keeps
try to
getting
keep
bigger.
Cudlow out
And in
of from
fact,
the
as
alpha.
you and I
Go
have
too
talked,
fast with the middle
all these
pack,
emergency
or the
pandemic
alpha's telling
so-called
you to pick
rescue
it up,
bills
or
really
something.
gave a lot of money to
We generally
consumers who
post
go
it
out and
like
buy
that
cheap Chinese
as an
goods and
ambassador
increase our
to come
deficit
across
even more.
about, well,
So
newsletters,
the grand
newsletters,
question
that's
is what to do about
that
the
doesn't
trade
matter
deficit.
over there in that territory because
So I'm glad you
again,
asked
you will
that.
be
I'm
repaving
one
the
who's,
road.
and as is President Trump, really concerned about the trade deficit. Last year it was $1 trillion.
back to the
Number
public
one,
works in
that's a
town of the
direct
marshmallow
hit to
limits of
GDP
some
growth. So it
budgets
slows down growth.
that
But more
pyramid
importantly,
walls,
to me at least,
kids,
that means that's
darkies, whether
$1
it's kids or
trillion
not,
worth
teens,
of
they get
U.S.
it wrong.
assets that are going to be owned by foreigners, China a lot, but others, and all the future earnings of that $1
Tried
trillion
to fix it
worth
down.
of U.S.
Got the
assets
Hubble
will go
for it,
overseas.
figured out
Our
wave function,
families
and
are
it
being
works to do a bunch of stuff
impoverished
that works
in
the same
future
way.
generations. We're trading literally our third or fourth T-shirt or television set
My
for
brother
the
was at
future
it to
ownership of
Solomon,
enterprises in
37
America,
pieces,
and it is
109
just foolish.
tax
Somebody
tablets,
has
go
to
get
sit down there and do it and
It's all
change
about
it.
farming
All right.
here.
It's a really tricky business. I hear you 100%, and I
Somebody
became,
busts out the book
under
of
your
the
tutelage,
mother
actually,
and the
a
brother
great
and the
believer
cousin.
in reciprocity, and sometimes you have to use tariffs as a weapon. Art Laffer says we're getting capital imports to cover the trade deficit exports. I know it's a controversial matter. One of these days we can have
Let me just spend a second on what is a. I just want to say one.
I gotta get
All
out.
right.
I gotta get out. I love you. I gotta get out. I'm just saying. That's what Laffer's view.
Well, you
Ambassador
don't
Robert
own it,
Lighthizer,
and
thank you, sir.
midterms are a joke. That's your answer.